Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD podcast. We'll be right back with today's special tech guest, but we want to give a shout out to our partners. We Coach, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, the Florida Coaches Coalition, and the Global Community of Women in High School Sports. You've heard me say many times because it's true. These are four great organizations. You should really add them to your network. And now, do me a favor, don't hit that fast forward button. Don't do it. Stay with us for the next 3 minutes as we give our sponsors a shout out. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director. You should be using them too. Here we go. We want to say thanks to Gipper, the official social media graphic solution for the podcast. And if you go to Gipper.com, their team is going to show you how to start creating world-class marketing content for your school's social media channel. You can do it in seconds on any device, and it's where your athletes are. Celebrate your teams, promote your programs. Gipper is used and trusted by over 3,000 athletic departments, high school and college across the country. And if you mention this podcast, you're going to get a nice discount. That's Gipper.com. We also want to thank Home Campus for their support. Home Campus is the exclusive high school and state association management platform for us. It's also your one-stop platform for things like scheduling, student athlete eligibility and clearance, managing your coaches, and a whole lot more. As an athletic director, I used Home Campus every single day, and it was just great. You'll love it too. Go to homecampus.com to get started. That's it. Go to homecampus.com. We want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo to see their scoreboards and their score tables in action. Their products not only generate income for your athletic department, they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. Go to huddle.com. Change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, and it was just terrific. But when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that let them coach our kids up to their highest level. Go to huddle.com right now. See why we believe in sports and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to thank our good friends at Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to their website, vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to showcase your school record boards for all the teams, for all the sports. It's also a great way to showcase your school's Hall of Fame and also tell more compelling stories about your school's diverse history and your proudest moments. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Mention this podcast, you'll get a nice discount. vitalsignswalloffame.com. We want to thank Hometown Ticketing for their support. Go to hometownticketing.com. It's digital ticketing that offers you more support, more security, more customization. Hometown is here to help you make the best solution. Go to hometownticketing.com to get started. We also want to thank our friends at Snap Mobile. Go to snapraise.com. That's the website. Check out their entire suite of platforms designed to help you do your job better. If you're looking for a fundraising platform, stop right here. SnapRaise is the best. We used it with great success. Our coaches loved it. Our parents loved it. And like I said, it works. But there's so much more. You've got Snap Connect, Snap Store, Snap Manage, and a whole lot more. You can find them all at snapraise.com. And we also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Their team is going to create a custom survey that allows you to take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. Athletic directors already hear back from the complainers, the 2% that want to gripe about everything. Athletic Surveys connects you with the 2%, but they also connect you with the 98% that supports your program. And that's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking with a frustrated parent, your principal, or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. Regular listeners, know that we typically have an athletic director or a coach, sometimes even a representative from a tech company that shares with us. But we've got a return guest who's not from any of those categories. If you follow her on Twitter, you know her as Technology Laura. She is a longtime middle school teacher, but also a very popular, got a ton of followers on Twitter. And she's back for her second segment on Tech Tuesday. So, Technology Laura, what do you have? Welcome back. And what do you have for our listeners on Tech Tuesday?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm excited for a conversation and to share a couple of things that I hope are beneficial to your listeners.
Well, I know you had a big international vacation experience. That's a conversation for another time.
Oh, yeah.
For for our listeners, we're recording this on 9/11. So school has been in session for a while. What sort of tips do you have for our listeners on this segment, Laura?
Yeah. So I kind of want to have the direction about grouping and how to do station work. And I think we talked a little bit about this last time of how athletic directors or coaches or tech coaches or anybody really in the industry of education can use a QR code generator for a lot of different reasons. And what that would look like was they can go to a QR code generator website, which are all free. Type in the link that they want the participants or students or coaches to go to. And then with the cell phone, your participants can just take a picture or even on your Chromebook, obviously, my students would, and that would hyperlink them into a Google form, a document, a link that maybe you want them to read. And so, how I use that in my classroom is on the four walls of the corner, because it's brick and mortar. I have four different QR codes, and then my students get up and move around because I really think physical movement is important for students and adults alike because they're sitting there all day and they just move around to the different stations. They're grouping really just with random kids. So that's really good for life skills of collaboration, having to be a team player to work with one another. And again, since they're getting out of their seats, I feel like that's really beneficial for middle school students. I can speak to that because they're all growing physically and emotionally. So I like to see them getting their wiggles out. And then this cuts out me having to cut or print paper and then like keeping up with all of that logistics, and then heaven forbid a kid typed in the website wrong, it just automatically links them right where they need to go. So it's really provides a lot of like security and clarity for students. This is what I'm doing, this is the timer. When the timer dings, then my students are rotating around the classroom. And so it's not something maybe I do every day, but I found that just like integrating the technology, obviously, and then the station work just kind of helps build the culture of my classroom in a positive direction.
Yeah, I see the applications very easily with coaches. We can even talk high school right now. First of all the kids are going to have their cell phones with them, and whether in a football schedule, whether it's Monday or maybe it's Thursday after a walkthrough, you bring them in the classroom, and like you said, the QR codes are there. Now let's pretend for a minute that I am not a tech genius and know exactly how QR codes work. Can you take just a couple of minutes and explain how a coach might go about setting that up?
Yeah, so I would work from like a desktop computer beginning, and then I'd go, I think it's like free QR code generator.com. You can just Google that, and then it will take you to a landing page. And then what you'll do is whatever link you want your players to go to, you'll just paste the link right there and put like, I think it's called like download QR code. And then it's going to populate a QR code on your screen and you'll want to download that. And then just, you can either print them out on pieces of paper and put them around the locker room, or, if you even put those like on a learning management system. But I would just say you download those QR codes for free and then you just print them off and you can tape them up, in the classroom or, the locker room or wherever it may be. Or if you wanted every player or student to get one, then you would just print out as many as you needed. And they can be very small too. It's not like this is something huge because they're scanning those with the computer or their cell phone, sorry.
No, okay. So basically you've got a link, maybe it's a website or something. You want to share that with your team of, 30, 40, 60, whatever it is. You go to the QR code generating website. I'm going to let our listeners Google that.
Yes.
And then you on that site, you paste the link of the article, the video, whatever it is. And now that QR code is linked to that. And then you share that QR code with your team. Did I get that
Yep.
right?
That's exactly right. And even like the coaches, if they just put that QR code like on the main screen, then the students or players could just, come up with their phone, go to the photos, an Apple phone, the photos, and then it automatically will just direct them right to the article or wherever they're needed to be. So I think that's the best way to do that. Then again, they would save time of having to print all of that. If you need to reference, wherever they're taking them, the schedule or plays, whatnot, it's always at their device. So that's why I think that might be really helpful practice for potential listeners.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. And if an old guy like me can figure it out, just think what this current generations of coaches can do. Um, Anything else that you've got to share with our listeners today, or maybe a deeper dive into the QR codes? I'm not going to keep you all night, but I want to get as much as I can out of you.
Yeah, so there's so many good things. There is one that I think could be helpful for PE teachers or PE coaches. It's called Bouncy Balls, and it's a sound management tool. And our PE teacher actually showed me this. And so I use it in the classroom because, like I said, it's a sound management tool. So if you want to like save your sanity and mental space, basically the computer will dictate like the sound, how high it is, and then it will say like, shh, be quiet. And so then you can use that in your classroom management, or like if it's really loud in PE and you don't want to have to keep blowing the whistle, and it allows the students to take ownership of like, okay, this is too loud, I need to tone it down. So I like that. That's just a sound management tool. Just kind of something different that maybe they've heard of, not heard of. Some elementary teachers like it a lot. And then the other one is the Remind app. And so that's just really a communication tool that I think would be really powerful if coaches are already using it. And it is basically an instant message via text message to all of the people who sign up for the Remind. So it could be the parents, the coaches, but you're not texting from your personal phone. Like as an educator, I'm texting the students' parents, and then they can also directly communicate with me through the portal, and then it's also translated in whatever language, so that's really awesome. If it's Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, whatnot, you can attach files, so you can attach sports schedules, physical forms, whatever. So I really like that, and I find that the parents really communicate with me in a swift manner versus like sometimes we lose emails or just so many emails. So this goes right to their phone. They can opt out if they don't want to be contacted, but I know a lot of our coaches, they use Remind app because, for example, like if practice gets canceled due to inclement weather, or they're meeting at this, different sports venue, it's hard to call all the parents on a football team. So they just quickly send out one message. And then if individual parents need to contact the coach, they're just directly messaging that individual, not all stakeholders. So I think the Remind app might be something they want to explore, or even just within the athletic director with all of the coaches as well, if there's like important information that needs to be broadcasted. I just feel like it's a lot easier to use than typing all the emails for me and finding all the emails and creating all the lists. The text message just seems like to really work for people.
Oh, it sounds like a great idea. And that was called the
Remind.
Remind app.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's
Um,
probably available in the App Store, right?
yes.
Look at me. I'm a tech guru,
You
just like
are.
you.
You
Okay.
are.
Laura, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out, go to your website, find out more about you. And again, listeners, Laura's got a very strong Twitter game. I still say Twitter. I'm not saying X. Excuse me.
Me either.
Uh,
It's hard.
how uh, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I'd love to connect with any of your listeners. My Twitter and Instagram handles at Technology Laura. And I try to feature some tidbits just like you do on your podcast for Tuesdays and Thursdays and some cool tech tools. Love to connect, help anyone. Love to learn from them as well.
No, again, technology, Laura. Thanks so much for sharing with our listeners, and all the best on the rest of the school year.
Thank you very much. It was nice seeing you and virtually connecting.
Again, yeah, absolutely. For listeners, we do this every single week, and we upload the Zoom recordings to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Of course, we appreciate you listening. Come back next Tuesday for another great tech tip, and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. And before we go, we do want to give a shout out to our sponsors one more time. Again, these are all companies that I used as a coach or as an AD. You should be using them too. Home Campus. Go to homecampus.com for student athlete eligibility and clearance, for coaches tracking, for scheduling, just about anything an athletic director does. You can find it at Home Campus. That's homecampus.com. Speaking of home, Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com to get started at your school. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Their products not only generate income for your department, but they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com, schedule a live web demo. We want to say thanks to Gipper, the official social media graphics solution for the podcast. Your kids are on social media, and if you're not, you're really missing out. And Gipper will help you create world-class content for your school's social media channel. Go to Gipper.com, mention this podcast, you'll get a nice discount. We want to say thanks to Snap Mobile. That's the company. Go to Snap Raise. That's the website, snapraise.com. Check out their entire suite designed to help you do your job better. SnapRaise is one of those platforms for a fundraiser, but there's a lot more. You'll find it all at snapraise.com. We also want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to their website and check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to display your school records, your school's Hall of Fame, or to just tell more compelling stories about your school's history. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com, mention this podcast. They'll give you a nice discount. We want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They'll create a custom survey that allows you to take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. That's athleticsurveys.com. And we want to say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As an athletic director, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com. Find out all the things they can do for you. Thanks again for listening to this episode of Tech Tuesday. Don't forget to check out the Athletic Director Toolbox books, along with our brand new book, The All-Star Athletic Director. Insights from 10 great women athletic directors, all from the state of Florida. You can find them all at Amazon.com, Athletic Director Toolbox, and All-Star Athletic Director. Hey, we'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.